there are actually 6 trig functions. We've talked about sine, cosine, and tangent, but there are 3 others, and these are called the reciprocal trig functions. The reason why is because they are the reciprocal of our sine, cosine, and tangent. Their names are secant, secant of theta. Actually, I should spell it out for you so you know what it looks like. Secant of theta is really 1 over cosine of theta. Or you could think of it, cosine is really opposite over hypotenuse, but if we switch it, you actually have your hypotenuse on top over your adjacent. So it flip-flops it. The way I think about it, the S and the C have to go together, and the C and the S have to go together with cosecant. With cosecant, this is 1 over sine. So like I was saying, secant goes with the regular C, cosecant goes with the S for sine. So an S and a C have to be together. They can't be mixed. That's how I think of it. You might think of it differently. I don't know. It's up to you. But so if it's 1 over sine, sine is really opposite over hypotenuse. So this goes into hypotenuse over opposite. Last but not least is cotangent, which you can assume here goes with our tangent function. Cotangent is 1 over tangent. Tangent is originally opposite over adjacent, so this goes as adjacent over opposite. Remember that tangent is also sine over cosine, so you could think of this as cosine over sine as well. So these are the other trig functions. These are the ones that aren't as well known, but they are valuable in the sense that there are times when you get into calculus that they will actually match up, and you'll be finding derivatives and integrals and all those different kinds of things that they do have a connection here. And with that being said, let's actually look at, if I give you cosecant of this value, how do I find it? Because your calculator doesn't actually have a cosecant or a secant button or a cotangent button. So you got to figure this out algebraically. So for instance, if I were to have secant of pi over 6, what does that actually equal as an exact value? So what I like to do is I like to think of it, okay, secant is 1 over cosine. So I've got 1 over cosine of pi over 6. And I still don't know what that equals. Well, now that I've converted it and used my reciprocal, I need to use my trig, or my trig unit circle. Okay, so if I look at my unit circle, pi over 6, the cosine value of pi over 6 is square root 3 over 2. Well, I know that if I have 1 over, I got to find the reciprocal, so I technically have 2 over square root 3. Well, I can't have a square root in the denominator, so I got to fix that. So I got to multiply the top and the bottom by square root 3, and then I have 2 square root 3 over 3, which equals cosecant, no, not cosecant, secant, sorry, of pi over 6. So you have to use your unit circle. You have to use your information about reciprocals and how to flip them. You have to use information about radicals, because on our unit circle, we technically have radicals all over the place, and you need to know how to convert that appropriately. So let's go through another one just as good measure. Let's say that I want the cotangent of 300 degrees. Again, I want an exact value. Okay, so cotangent is really 1 over tangent 300. Okay, so 1 over tangent 300 is negative square root 3. So the nice thing is we didn't have a fraction there that we needed to convert. So now I need to multiply by the square root of 3 to the top and the bottom, which is going to give me square root 3 over negative 3. And that right there is the cotangent of 300 degrees.